So, folks, it's been a long time, I feel like, since I last read at all. Life has been a little bit crazy. Yes, but keep in mind, I'm still working on this kind of stuff. This channel, these videos are ways to help me practice reading Tarot and Lenormand. And a little bit later, I'm going to look into other ways to do some divining. Today's video is on a YouTuber that has gotten quite a bit of controversy towards their name. This is about Gabbie Hanna. As of today, I'm reading for her on June 10th, 2021. And at the moment, some stuff has come to light. Gabbie has done some real damage. I don't believe that I believe that there are some folks who can be saved, right? Gabbie has screwed up horribly, right? It doesn't mean that she can't redeem herself, right? But she has to make the choice to redeem herself. And that's kind of what I'm investigating today. I want to take a look first at what is going on right at this moment. I want to look at what forces are underneath all these behaviors. Some of it may be stuff that we're already decently aware of. On the other hand, maybe not. And also, I want to look at what she can do to turn things around, right? Not just turn things around, but live her best life. So I have 3 separate questions that I want to take a look at with Gabbie Hanna. Today I'm working with the Wildwood Tarot and with the 7th Sphere Lenormand. These folks have gotten quite a bit of mileage with me on this channel. Before I started this channel, these are fantastic decks, right? Links to both of these decks are in the description down below. Tell you what, let's do a Lenormand reading first. We'll do the tarot a little bit later. Now, while I shuffle, I just want to say that all readings are allegedly for entertainment purposes only, for learning purposes only, right? I'm using these as a way to become better at reading for people, right? I've read for family and for friends, but I've only been doing this for 2 years this month, right? I started reading tarot 2 years ago, and then I picked up Lenormand around a month later. But just as a disclaimer, Lenormand can be a little bit more blunt, a little bit more plain-spoken than tarot can be, okay? It can be more specific. I'm listening to Spirit. I'm waiting for them to tell me when to stop shuffling and when to keep going. So if you see me pause, it's because I'm listening to Spirit and asking if they want me to keep shuffling or no. What is going on in Gabbie's life? What are the... Oh, we got some stuff popping out. Is that her central theme, Spirit? I'm getting an indication from Spirit that this is her central theme. I hope that looks good on the camera. So I'm getting an indication that that's her central theme. Spirit, should I keep shuffling? I'm getting a no, do not keep shuffling. And so I'm going to take from the top, and we're going to build her first layer. That's her conscious layer, what she consciously wants, right? Okay, well, as we were looking at just a second ago, Star is about celebrity status for a lot of Lenormand readers. That's what came to mind, right? What is moving all of this right now? Literally celebrity status, right? This is what she really, really wants. The star is about the things that we aim high for, that we dream about, right? And in this case, it's celebrity status. And this has been something that has been around for a really long time for her. Star lands on the house of the tree, which tells me that this is a deeply rooted thing. It may be difficult for her, especially difficult for her to deal with this because it is so deeply rooted, right? So that's her central theme. At the end of the day, that's what's moving her current situation, okay? Just checking the camera. It looks like I can lower stuff a little bit more. I apologize, folks. Still getting used to some new camera equipment. I like it a lot. But yeah, I have to pop up and down and look at my angles. So alongside her drive for celebrity status, drive is what comes to mind. I see bear, right? One thing that you don't want to get in the way of is a bear, right? I'm getting the abuse word, right? When I look at this bear, it can mean a supervisor, right? It can mean a boss, right? It doesn't necessarily mean destruction. But across from the scythe, I do see a really destructive angle to this drive for celebrity status. And as you can see, if you take a look at what's going on with Gabbie and her behavior lately, this is exactly what's going on, right? Abusive is absolutely a part of this, right? The scythe is going to eventually put an end to this, right? We see the scythe cutting those celebrity, that desire for celebrity status. So I do wonder if her abusive behavior isn't going to be what shoots herself in the foot, right? I don't know how long her audience is going to want to see that stuff play out. So I also want to take a look at what's going on consciously, right? What does she consciously want out of this situation? This is what's moving at the very center of everything. It looks like that she wants security, that she wants love. Now, this is interesting. The word sex popped into my mind, and for some folks, whip is tied to sex, the more adventurous side of sex, right? She wants family. She wants love, romantic love, right? I do see this as being romantic love, not just compassion, right? But I do see her still wanting, the harder aspects of life. I mean, Gabbie really doesn't strike me as a gentle person, right? Even when she's at her best, I don't know how gentle she could be, and I wonder if the whip isn't pulling some of that out, right? Her desires could be, okay, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, could be tied towards that more adventurous side of her, right? Now, here's the thing. The whip can also be tied to abuse, right? And that's also what we see here. So I wonder if her hopes and dreams for a family, for love, for romantic love, aren't tempered by this harsher side of her, right? This is conflict. I wonder if conflict doesn't stand in the way of what she wants consciously. And then we move down to the lower row. And now when I was looking at the lower row, I can talk, I promise. This came up to me as risk. Now, this can be about taking something lightheartedly. This can be about luck/risk, right? There's that gambling aspect to this card. You could win big, you could lose big, right? But at the end of the day, the house always wins. So there's something revolutionary going on, right? There's a new leg to her life being started at this point, right? There's some risk to her being deeply burdened by what's going on here, right? And to a degree, she has, I mentioned a bit ago, that she has kind of shot herself in the foot with this. She can still recover. Doctrine. Why is doctrine coming up with this? I don't know if she is religious at all and if she's into faith. But this, I could be completely wrong, okay? I'm still a beginner to this. I'm still reading. But I wonder if this whole thing is going to, like, quote unquote, bring her to Jesus, so to speak. But there's some risk underneath there. I'm like, well, you know what? Clover lands on the house of the snake, which is about deception, two-facedness. Do you think that she's going to be one of those YouTubers who found religion and then comes back on their YouTube channel and says, oh my God, I've changed and all this kind of stuff? I don't know. But this is what's underneath all of this stuff. I'm going to need to come back to this, or I might need to ask Spirit a little bit more on what's going on right here, because I could be wrong and completely reading this all wrong, right? I want to look at her past, her present, her future. This was conscious, her present reality, and what lies beneath, what the currents underneath the situation are. With the past, I do see taking love lightheartedly, throwing her weight around in relationships, right? I don't know that she valued the romantic relationships that she had in the past, right? That she wanted to be the one who was in charge 100% of the time. I could be wrong here. We've got her present, where she is presently. She has hopes for her celebrity status, turning everything around for her and giving her security, right? A big, beautiful house, quite possibly, if she doesn't already have a big, beautiful house. That's what she wants out of this, security. She wants this to do amazing things for her. She wants to be seen as this amazing artist at the end of the day. But she has some stuff coming up in the future. Y'all, I have 3. In this context, these cards are negative, right? I don't believe that Lenormand cards by themselves are negative or positive necessarily, right? Context is going to absolutely take the tone a direction. But we have 3 cards that together bring up some negativity. The chickens come home to roost is what is coming to mind right now. When I'm looking at this, the chickens come home to roost. You reap what you sow. Literally, right? Yeah. In other traditional versions of Lenormand, you're going to see a sheaf of wheat alongside the scythe. Now, there is this will be the end of one era, and it will be the beginning of a new one. And this is where I wonder if she isn't going to use faith as a way to continue to be abusive. I would love to be wrong here. Yeah. So past, present, and future, we can also take a look at influences. So past influences will be going diagonally, right? So there was some risk to her being this person who would kick up conflict as part of her celebrity status, right? There was some risk. There was some luck to it, too. For a long time, she got views, and she still has audience members who are attached to this kind of conflict, this celebrity status that causes conflict, right? There is still some attraction towards that. However, the flip side of luck is the risk that she loses everything, right? And I'm kind of seeing that happen right now, especially when you look up here and then down through here. we see, again, chickens coming home to roost. Influences moving forward. With this is love of doctrine, right? Celebrity status, I'm saved. And now I can be elevated to a new celebrity status. I've been redeemed, right? I don't know how genuine it is. This makes me feel like it's pretty surface, especially with the snake being underneath Clover. So folks, that's what's going on at the moment, right? What's going on underneath all the drama at the moment, all the behavior. I want to take a look at what she can do to make amends, right? And I'm going to pull out the Wildwood deck for this. And I'm going to take a look at what kinds of tarot spreads could really fit this situation, what she can do to make amends and move forward. So I'll be right back. So folks, I want to take a look at what Gabbie can do to make amends, and then we'll move on to what she can do to live her best life here in just a second. So I'm going to shuffle for a bit. And let's see what she can do. You can't take back words, right? We know that you can't take back words. However, you can do some work to make the people that you wronged feel like that something has been righted, right? You can do that work. It's hard work. Sometimes it's embarrassing work. But if she's to start living her best life, then she needs to start there, right? By making amends with the people that she's hurt. So with the Wildwood deck, there are no reversals. The deck creators believe that the messages within the Wildwood are harsh enough that reversals are not needed. So I'm going to practice just like the card creators described. So I'm going to use a technique that I learned from another much more experienced tarot reader who I look up to. His name is Aphrodite, right? We have the same sun sign and the same moon sign, so I vibe with him on a particular level. So what he does is he takes a look at 3 cards at a time to build a story, and that's what I'm going to do here. What can Gabbie do to start making amends? So we're going to start flipping over 1, 2, and 3 cards. So she can explore being a more grounded with the stones, right? With horses specifically. These can be very gentle animals, right? Very adventurous, wild, crazy. If you've ever seen footage, documentaries of wild horses running around, they look so amazing, so powerful, right? So here we've got a little bit, she definitely needs to tone this down, I'm getting, right? So with the Knight of Stones, I'm getting an idea that she needs to tone her wild side down first. With the Three of Bows, fulfillment. Now this is interesting. This is about a plan that she had been thinking about coming to fruition, right? 2 of Bows would be thinking about it. 3 is it's manifesting. So in this case, this would be to manifest some action that she's been thinking about, right? And some positive action. But absolutely tone this down just a bit. and to endure some of the rougher storms that are going to come about as a result of having caused some damage. She's going to need to become a friendlier person. Do you see how the figure is holding up a hand in greeting? This is something that I remember the manual that comes with the books talks about, right? You've got a couple of characters in this deck that greet the querent. It's asking her to become a far more welcoming person. Not just tone down your wild side. Appreciate and tone down your wild side. And endure what you've created, right? There are going to be consequences to what happened here. This is the wild side untamed. There are some consequences. She's going to need to level up into being this person, right? These are consequences fulfilled now that I'm meditating on it a little bit more. I want 3 more cards. She's going to need to come together with her intuition, right? And I don't mean the intuition that's been telling her to go off on somebody, right? She's going to have to connect to her spirit guides. That's what this image is about. In order to come up with new ways of saying stuff. Arrows, air energy is going to be about thoughts, communication, double-edged sword. This would normally be the sword in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is about gaining trust, becoming that person that is worthy to see the greater mysteries, to work with the earth. In order to make amendments, she's going to have to significantly level up. It looks like not just her thought, her speaking life, but also her spiritual life in order to get there. Now, I do remember taking a look at doctrine, faith, religion in the Lenormand reading. Here, I wonder if she doesn't have a crossroads in front of her, right? She could take the religion in a really negative direction. But in order to make amends, she's going to have to take it in a direction that benefits her, benefits the people around her, right? And especially the people that she's wronged. I'm going to take a look at 3 more. Let me make sure that the cards are still in the shot. Yes, okay. Let me do some straightening. Okay. 3 more. Let's continue to practice. Knight of Arrows, the explorer of words, right? Hawks zip towards their prey. Now, I grew up on a farm, and something that we had to deal with on that farm were hawks going for our chickens, right? Our chickens that we had spent a lot of money on because we wanted quality chickens that would lay good eggs, right? But these hawks, they hang out, they're very still, they're very beautiful, right? They're if you've ever seen one in person up close, God, they are gorgeous. Birds are just gorgeous to me. They sit still, they watch for their prey, and when they see it, when they see an opportunity, they do not hesitate. They get in, they get back out, right? So here, she is going to need to be much, much more specific. You know what? Now that I see these 3 cards in this row, I suspect this is tame your wild side, become more meditative, and become someone who, right, meditates before they swoop in and say stuff. This is, yep, give it a rest, right? She's going to have some frustration with her communication, right? It's best for her to deal with this frustration by having a bit of a sleep, right? I'm getting the idea that she should hop off the internet for a bit. Hop off of YouTube, hop off the social medias, get some space away from the internet. That's the only way that she's going to become this more meditative personality. I'm getting a message from Spirit to get 3 more cards out, so here we go. The Page of Vessels, the Otter. Legacy, being a lynx, watching out for younger viewers, right? So the lynx is especially protective of its young, right? And what do we see in this card right next door? You know, she could be amazing towards guiding. You know what she could do is she could tell younger YouTube creators, less experienced YouTube creators, do you see what I did with my career? She can become a whole new person, right? As a result of her becoming this more meditative person who thinks about what she says. A much more playful character, right? Someone who is genuinely full of joy. If you've ever seen otters play in the water, God, it's so much fun, right? Watch a YouTube video of some otters playing in some water just to get an idea of the mood that this card is sending to you. But I see a more playful side, a more genuinely joyful side of her coming out if she can become this more meditative person, more welcoming, a new way of communicating. She gives it a rest, right? She takes a decent break away from YouTube. What popped into my head right now was 6 months. A decent break of 6 months, Spirit says, at least, right? And then she can come back around and be this person who says, do you see what I did with my life? You can avoid this by not being me. Here's what you do, right? You can do amazing things with this. If she can do amazing things with this if she really wanted to. This is what she can do to make amends, right? Spirit's saying no more cards. And Spirit's saying let's move on to what she can do to live her best possible life. So let me pick these guys up and then let me shuffle again. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Wildwood. Okay. I'm going to do a Celtic cross for what Gabbie can do to live her best life. Spirit says shuffle these guys back in, right? Some folks, they say, oh, it came out. I like to ask Spirit, do you want me to shuffle that back in? Do you want me to leave it out? Because, you know, you always got to account for butterfingers. Spirit says no more shuffling, so here we go. The Green Man. This is my personal card, right? The Green Man is the Emperor. What can she do to live her best life? She can become like the Emperor. The Green Man can be thought of in terms of the rules and regulations by which the earth revolves around, right? Spring, fall, summer, winter come through at these specific times because the Green Man puts those rules in place, keeps those seasons moving, for instance, right? So she can become this incredible person who, in a way, kind of sets a good example, sets, you know, not ground rules herself personally, but her experiences, who she's been, kind of warns other creators how not to be, how not to behave like this, right? So that's her central theme, right? We were talking about Lenormand's central themes. This could be thought of as the central theme. Now, I do Celtic crosses a little bit differently. You guys can still see that. So this is her past, her present, her future, okay? So in order to live her best life possible, she is absolutely going to need to take control of her situation and make a powerful decision, right? This particular person has a hold of some flaming rods, not going to let go, absolutely has the conviction, right? And that's something that she's going to need to do in order to get to her best, right? I've talked about other YouTubers on here, other public figures on here that really didn't need to do that much in order to get to their best possible life. I feel like Gabbie's going to have to do more work to get to her best possible if that's something that she wants. But if she does make the choice to become the emperor, to become the green man, to become the person who basically sets a really fascinating example, she can become a healer, right? She can become someone who heals herself, heals the people that she's hurt, heals her audience members, and you know, the internet is not a kind place necessarily, and she can become that person who says, you know, I used to be this kind of person, I used to do stupid things, and I've learned differently. Let me talk to you about it, right? She can become that person if she really, really wants. Something about this cauldron is sticking out in my mind. She's going to need to stop stirring the pot, is what needs to happen here. Struggle. Yeah. Oh, God. Heartbreak. Okay. Well, what's moving consciously in order to get to her best possible life? She's going to have to struggle, and it's going to look on the surface like she's struggling, right? People are going to be able to see that. If she's getting to her best possible life, people are going to see that she's trying, but that she's struggling to get there, right? There may be some setbacks in the process. Absolutely. Underneath all of that, she's going to need to get away from jealousy. Jealousy is what's moving this situation. In order to live her best possible life, she's going to have to let go of, oh my God, it's other people's relationships. You know how, I believe I remember a story about her attempting to sabotage Trisha Paytas's relationship and Gabbie's own sister's relationship with their significant others, right? Jealousy, want for home, for love, what we saw in the Lenormand reading is what drives all of this, right? And look, you know, it's difficult being alone. It's difficult to see people getting together when you're kind of being left out of all of that, dude. Like, we've all been there. But this is what's moving the situation. If she wants to have her best possible life, become the more meditative individual that we discussed in the 12-card reading, right? But she's going to need to really have a reckoning with this, and this could be where the struggle comes into play. She can grow into this incredible person if she struggles to let go of the jealousy, right? That's going to be hard work for her. So that's her cross. What's going on with her rod? The advice is to start over, new beginnings, take a leap of faith. This particular person, they are neither male nor female, right? They are gender fluid, right? They are they, them. So this particular person, they are taking a leap of faith. They have a rainbow bridge. They don't see any, there is possibly no firm ground underneath this rainbow bridge, right? But this person trusts the universe that if they take this leap of faith, the universe is not going to hurt them for taking that leap of faith. She needs to start over, right? And it's kind of like what we were seeing in the previous reading, that this is going to need to be a radical start over. With the Lenormand reading, she's really shot herself in the foot. And you know, with that scythe, it's not just about a sudden end, it's also about a sudden new beginning. And I wonder if this isn't a point where she can really reinvent herself. hitting rock bottom, chickens coming home to roost, is where she could really reinvent herself and become this role model to younger influencers, is what the word I was looking for. So that's her advice. I love this card. I have a picture of it on my phone. It's just a gorgeous imagery. So this is her external circumstances, right? These are her external circumstances. If she is to live her best life, happiness like she has never experienced before, those would be her external circumstances. Now, what are her hopes and fears about all of this? She's afraid of becoming the master of her emotions. Now, I think it's interesting. The heron is a deeply sacred figure in this deck in the Celtic tradition. Deeply calm, can, as you can see, hold up one leg, balance on one leg just fine. I know that this particular breed of bird can do it. I'm just stunned because I, the human, cannot do that. But there's a deep sense of calm, right? And these herons are almost always in the water, right? Never overwhelmed by it, right? They can always pick up and fly away into the air. And that's another thing, is they are both water and air, and they can hop onto the land. I think that contributes to their sacred concept, is that they are birds that go across all of them, right? Go across all elements is what I should say. So this is her hope and her fear at the same time. It's going to take hard work to get to this particular point, but she can do it if she wants, right? Now, here's the thing. I didn't realize, I was doing a little bit of research on Gabbie before I got started on this. It turns out that she was a really powerful salesperson in another iteration before she came to YouTube, before she came to Vine, right? You guys remember Vine? She was a really powerful person, which tells me that she has the diligence, the work ethic to make this kind of stuff happen. And let's be honest, you need to work hard in order to get to where she is as a social media influencer. She's just not using that influence at all well. So, last and not least, those are her hopes and fears. I want to take a look at her outcome. And here we've got the Page of Cups again. You know, she's got some really neat things coming for her if she chooses to bring those neat things into her life, right? Start over, become a healer, and you will become a genuinely joyful, playful person who's neat to be around. I think that's the tragedy behind all of this, is Gabbie really has the potential to be a cool, badass person that would be fun to hang around, right? Like, anybody would want to, listen to her life story, buy her a beer, hang out for just a bit, right? She can have really neat things, even in spite of what's happened in the past, right? And in spite of what's happened in the relatively recent past, she can still bring amazing things into her life, and I really hope that she does, right? There's still that risk of her shunting off into a negative kind of religious side to all of this. But I hope that things change. With these readings, Lenormand and Tarot, things can always change. If someone makes a choice, positive or negative, that changes the situation, well, there's going to be different outcomes. There's going to be different futures. And I hope that she goes for this one. She can have it. She can have it, but does she want to get it? Does she want to do the hard work to get it? And I hope that she does. I wish healing on the people that have been hurt by Gabbie's behavior, right? Especially Jessie Smiles. Really horrifying. But Gabbie can choose to turn this around. Okay. So folks, that is it for this reading. I thank Spirit for coming through. I thank the Wildwood deck and once again the Seventh Sphere deck for speaking to us today. I hope that you have a great day. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, take care.